For Teslafaninsight, I wanted to focus in on a few topics today. The first is that I wanted to dive into is as much as a $5,000 increase on Tesla prices. So, as you know, there's a problem happening right now, which is there's supply chain issues and there's also some inflation issues. So one of the things we talk about a lot is that fuel prices represent 2% of the cost of all manufacturers. So in theory, as we watch the price of oil rising, not only is there the 2% that's represented by the oil, so in theory, every bit of Tesla's vehicle has sort of an oil base to it, the paints, the manufacturing of the skins that are used, everything has an oil base to it. In theory, then, we get a 2% increase. So, for a $50,000 car, you can kind of calculate what the number is if we have a 2% increase in costs. Those general costs have been on the rise, and Tesla's been able to raise prices, and because the backlog is so long, they haven't had any issues in terms of losing market share. Fairly good news. There's an interesting development happening right now focused on the fact that, well, wait a second, it's entirely possible that when you look at that last $5,000 increase on the top of the line vehicles, that Tesla is really saying that they have so much demand right now that they can't meet, that one of the ways to slow down this demand is to actually raise prices, causing some people to say, hey, I'm not interested in spending that much. And we don't know what that number is yet, but we kind of haven't gotten there quite yet. I have run into several customers who are like, geez, I wish I picked up my Model 3 in that 45,000 range. Now that thing's going for 52K and I could have had it before at a lower number. Well, yeah, you could have it, but there's also backlogs that you're dealing with right now as well. So in my gut, what I think is happening right now is there's a holy grail or an amazing number out there that Tesla's hunting for, / everyone that likes Tesla's hunting for, and that is the 40% number. So if Tesla can get its margins up to that 40% digit, we all of a sudden have a really interesting situation where their margins start to approach Apple's. And if that happens, it causes an explosion on the stock price. So I would say we're hunting that right now. Now, one of the big discussions about these margins and what's going to happen to Tesla over time has been that they're just going to lose market share as large manufacturers come in. Instead of seeing Tesla losing market share, what we're seeing is the market is increasing in size and Tesla is remaining sort of the market leader with 60% market share. So that's not as pretty as 75% market share, but if you have a bigger market and you're 60% of it and you can't make any more cars anyway, that's a positive development all around, terrific. So one can't argue with that. So congratulations to all of you that are invested right now, because it's an amazing time to be in Tesla. The second thing we wanted to review today is, over time we have a thing going on our channel where we sort of roam through a whole bunch of, I want to call it pots of money. So what do I mean by that? Well, think about the S&P, for example. Prior to Tesla entering the S&P, there was a certain amount of demand for their shares. Once they entered the S&P, the demand was increased by the fact that there are now managers who are S&P managers who are now allowed to invest in Tesla. So one of the parameters, as you may recall, is Tesla had to have 4 quarters of profitability to get into the S&P, which they achieved, and continue to do better than they were doing. So Tesla got in on that pot of money. Now we have this new pot of money. Because Tesla's been so strong and able to start paying down debt, the more debt they pay down, they have a better debt to equity ratio. And all of a sudden, there are people that hunt highly rated bonds that are saying the combination of the stock price and where the bond is results in folks saying we're now allowed to buy the stock in the company, and this gives us an additional boost. Now, where do I see this going? We're in that B zone. What if Tesla gets to B plus or even an A on their bonds? Well, I believe the answer to that is that we even get more push on the stock. And the reason is because, as I just shared, there are a number of funds, et cetera, that are not allowed to invest in anything but, let's say, investment grade bonds. And then the higher the investment grade goes, the more investors that are allowed to be involved with them. So I wanted to bring all this up because there are all these pockets of good news that Tesla's currently experiencing. And so the question that comes up then is, how do we assess where we are, what's going to happen with Tesla? Well, I really think that where we are is for our primary group of 3-day rule investors, I think I'm waiting on a pop from them worth 50 to 100 points on the stock. And then that's when we'll really see the power of everything Tesla's doing. So will this happen? That's unknown. We're going to find out this week in that regard. But I'm fairly certain that the collection of excellent fundamentals will actually serve Tesla very well. One other data point that an accounting friend of the show has shared with us to think about is the fact that Ford has a 3% margin, GM has a 10% margin, and Tesla's current margin is around 27%. So if Tesla can up the margin with the growth rate they're doing towards the mid-30s, 35, 37, all of a sudden we get a nice explosion in the stock here because they're having shortages of vehicles, and it shows kind of where things are at. The final sort of data point I wanted to investigate in conversation today was the fact that the CFO of Tesla has said that they've been caught by surprise a little bit in terms of the amount of demand. So there's been a lot of press out there about the fact that there are a lot of both Chinese and other competitors entering the marketplace, and they represented very challenging competition for Tesla. And the answer that's popped up is that, yeah, they are kind of challenging competition, but with a growing marketplace, number one. And then number two, all the elements of the value proposition of Tesla being superior to most brands, we have all the ingredients for Tesla to continue to grow rather dramatically. So congratulations to all of you who are investors. Congratulations to Tesla for delivering on this. And we kind of wanted to run through this information while on the road here in Seattle. And as you'll see, we're including some video of different shots we picked up on Tesla this week that I thought were kind of interesting. So what do I see for the week? I think this is going to be exciting to see sort of a giant cloudburst of different constituencies that are embracing the Tesla message, be it consumers, bondholders, investors in highly rated companies, both bond and company. And I think that this portends really, really good things for the stock. So again, congratulations for those of you who are involved. The only thing we're working right now for is the sizzle of the new factories open. I think will be a true, lights out circumstance. And we look forward to this coming up as our sort of next major milestone. So we obviously will keep you posted on this. Just a reminder, we have some SpaceX shares if there's interest. We also wanted to review the fact that please join us on Patreon if you'd like some better advice on investing and trading. These comments are also copyrighted, and any rebroadcast of descriptions provided is prohibited. Next, we wanted to get into our health tips. Now, I wanted to mention to you, there's something in the brain called the hippocampus. So we ran into a PA who's involved with neurology, and she was saying that short bursts of 10-minute walks a couple of times a day would actually be hugely beneficial to your health. So I wanted to mention this as well as something to consider researching. and blending into your health plan. Any rate, this is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Tschüss German, au revoir French, Lehithro, Hebrew, Hoda, Hafez, Farsi, Transwitcher, Russian, Nihama, Chinese, Kambawa, Japanese, Heido, Swedish, G'day, our friends in Australia, Namaste, our friends in India, and in Jamaica we say, Nuff respect, walk good man. Have a great day. Bye for now. We look forward to an exciting week of investing and trading coming up for Tesla. Thank you again, and ciao.